Excuse my looks. I'm actually just doing some face steaming because I've been having a cold and I've found that this is the best method to quickly get rid of a cold, just to steam with a lot of essential oils like eucalyptus. I feel much better already. But today I wanted to do this kind of vlog with my silly beekeeper hat that I wore in reverse to keep the steam on my face. Just because we are so stuck in this age of perfection where everything has to be filtered, everything has to be so aesthetic. But sometimes we forget that the best aesthetic is the human connection, like the ability to relate and feel what the person is talking about. My Venus is in Virgo, so I have perfectionistic tendency, and that's something I've been working on. So this video without makeup and with messy hair with a silly hat on my head would be my attempt to break free from that prison. And since my account doesn't have a lot of followers yet, it's a perfect space for self-expression. That's also the reason why I haven't been posting this channel, my new YouTube channel, on my other social media where I have more followers, just because I wanted to have a fresh start and find that creative spark again, find the freedom of self-expression that I once had but lost, I think. Try out this new format because I don't have a lot of views and followers anyways. So I had a question recently from a subscriber saying that, why do you think the masculine does not have access to source? Actually, great point. I wanted to clarify this. So the masculine and the feminine have different roles. While both of them, it's true that both of them have access to source in some capacity, the masculine's capacity to access to source is very different. I want to explain this by explaining the essential energies that exist within us. As human beings, we crave two essential things. One is unconditional love, and the other thing is conditional acceptance. So unconditional love is given to us by our mother, our motherly energy. And when we're born, when we feel like our mothers unconditionally love us, no matter what, no matter in what form we've come into this plane, no matter in what gender we have come to this plane, we feel fulfilled. Conditional acceptance happens a lot later. It's the process of social verification, when the paternal figure basically tells us, okay, I think that you're valid, I think that you can go and achieve things in the world. I think you have the skill sets to do it. So this is a process of initiation, right? We go through it when we're 7. Usually it's a fatherly energy who does this, who tells us, okay, I see you, I acknowledge your strength, go out there, conquer the world and show them what you've got. We get this validation and appreciation for what we are and the qualities and skills that we have gained through these years of becoming. And everything we do in life, if we don't get this vetting process, if we don't get this validation, becomes very shaky. The person who doesn't get this social approval from their father becomes doubtful. They doubt every step that they take, and they feel insecure and not confident enough to start things, or not confident enough to follow through with the things that they have started. So when we understand that we need these two basic energies, the energy of unconditional love and the energy of conditional acceptance, in order to thrive in the world, in order to feel adequate, and in order to feel capable, then we will understand the basis of the masculine and feminine energy and their roles in our lives. So the feminine energy, like the motherly energy, is all accepting. She takes everything the source gives her without any judgment. She just accepts it in its purest form, unconditionally, and allows it to be and sees value in it, no matter in what form it comes. So the feminine in itself doesn't have a lot of judgment, and that's why she's able to unconditionally love. She understands the meaning and the place for everything in this world. The masculine is different. It has a vetting property. So when the masculine accesses the source, it cannot turn off the vetting process that is ingrained in its nature, in its code. So the masculine, when they access the source, they will not just accept it unconditionally and love it, love God as it is, but they will try to trim down the knowledge. They will say, okay, this is applicable, this I need to simplify in order to explain to the people so that they can grasp it. But while this is a necessary function, when the masculine access the source, the God energy, in this code, in this frame of operation, they unknowingly dilute the knowledge by cutting down all the things that they deem unnecessary but actually is essential, which is what we get with the spiritual knowledge today, what we see with religion, what we see with spiritual practices in our modern society. Take, for example, yoga as a practice. In its form, it was channeled from source by the feminine energy. And that is the yoga as a philosophy that exists in the Eastern world, in the Vedic practices. But the yoga that was brought to the West is the embodiment of masculine refinement process. The masculine takes that philosophy and brings it to the West in a very condensed version that they think is applicable to the human beings in the West by extracting what they deem is the most useful knowledge from this philosophy and bringing it to the people, so that more people can replicate this process and gain benefits from it. While people actually do gain benefits, it is just the initial step. They don't get access to the whole philosophy, the whole wisdom, through practicing this diluted version of yoga as a wellness practice. So in this example, we can see that the feminine is the yoga as a philosophy, and the masculine is the embodiment of yoga as we know in the West. And the reason why the masculine and the feminine need to exist in unison, and the masculine should take the knowledge from the feminine instead of taking the knowledge directly from the source and try to refine it, is because when the masculine takes the knowledge from the feminine, they go through an initiation process by the feminine. Instead of just giving them the knowledge as it is given by the source, they also put their divine feminine energy into the equation. And the feminine energy has the softening and accepting property that allows the masculine in this softness, in this safe space, to see that a lot of the things that in their nature they would think and deem unnecessary and extra is actually necessary. The feminine brings the aesthetic, the beauty, the understanding that things have a purpose. So in this process of divine creation, the feminine channels to the masculine that this is actually necessary. You need to have a deeper understanding of this philosophy for the person to have expansion long term, not just gain the temporary short term benefit. The feminine shows the masculine that all the aesthetics, all the extras, they actually have a function, but that function is more sustainable, is more long term, which is something that sometimes the masculine is unable to see, because the masculine is an energy of acceleration, of here and now, of living in the present and short-term gains. But the feminine is able to give feedback by saying that all of these aesthetics, all of these extra things that you think right now is unnecessary actually serve a long-term purpose. So don't exclude it from the equation when you design your product to bring to the masses, to bring to the world in its applicable form. Don't make the architecture, don't build the architecture just to be functional so that it can be used short term. Make it aesthetic so it can have a long-term impact on the society, on the mindset, on the energy of the collective as a whole. So I hope that I have been able to explain this question. Both the masculine and the feminine have access to source, but the way they perceive the source is very different, and that's why they need to exist in unison. If you have a partner with the feminine energy and you're in the masculine energy, hone your skill in this refinement process, making things simple and making things applicable to the masses. And listen to your feminine partner. Allow them to coach you through the long-term impacts of a thing and include those things back into the equation after you have perceived it. And if you are the feminine energy, allow yourself to accept the masculine unconditionally, because that is the main ingredient that allows you to transform. You don't transform by force, you transform by unconditional love And if you are going to say that I can accept my partner unconditionally because they are so flawed, you can. You can accept them unconditionally. But you can also choose who to partner up with and how to be with them. If you know that you are with a person and you're constantly criticizing, and no matter how much you change yourself, you will still criticize and put them down and apply this masculine energy of judgment onto them, then it might be worthy of consideration to split up and give each other the necessary space to grow, because you're not doing them good and you're living in separation from your own purpose. The feminine is not here to nag and complain. We're here to see things as they are and accept them as they are. But when we are able to see them as they are, we also have the privilege of choice. We can choose what to associate ourselves with and where to put our energy. And if you think that you cannot do that, you feel empathy, you feel pity, then think again, because that is exactly what you need to master. Master your boundaries, master your choice, because your choice is your biggest strength and asset, along with your asset of loving unconditionally and unconditionally accepting. Similar to how the egg can choose and reject the sperms that come her way, you can choose and reject what is best for you. So make that choice wisely. The energy of the masculine is different. It's the energy of judging, vetting, simplifying, and bringing to the masses. The energy of the masculine is more like a sprint than a marathon. It's more short-term gains. And it is reflected in the fact that the masculine is ruled by the sun, which is a daily circadian rhythm, and the feminine is ruled by the moon, which is a 28 days cycle. So the way we operate is very, very different. So the masculine need to make the best of their day every day. Every day, put in work to become the best version of yourself, the way you envision. Do the things that your ideal version would do. Become the embodiment of your ideal person. If you're in union, listen to the feedback that the feminine has for you. Don't take it as criticism, but take it as the feedback to enrichen your life, because you probably tend to simplify things. And what the feminine is putting back is the aesthetic to build out the long-term vision. So you can take it, apply it to your own equation, and that will allow you to go further. Don't be afraid to take advice from the feminine and apply it to your equation and give back the appreciation, give back the validation by thanking the feminine and allowing them to see that they are valuable and they have a space in your life and they are worthy. I hope I was able to briefly explain the dynamic between the masculine and the feminine with source, the masculine and feminine on their own, and the masculine and feminine in union with each other. If it helps, send it to your friend and please comment below so that I know to create more of content like this.